Hi, my name is Keith Allen, and I am an author, illustrator, and paper engineer from right here in Westlake, Ohio. I know paper engineer sounds like a fancy term. It's really just somebody who likes to cut and fold paper. And so I like to experiment with different paper folds and build them into pop-up books. So I wanted to share with you today my second book. This one I wrote, illustrated, and did the pop-ups. It's called What a Mess, a Pop-Up Misadventure. And it's about two kids that don't clean their room. So it's inspired by my two children that do not like to clean their room. So let's get started. So that's the book there. Let's see. It's the first pop-up. Boom! Our story begins in a most common place, in a house where two children shared the same space. At one time, their bedroom was neat and well kept, but soon it became neither straightened nor swept. But brother and sis didn't mind all the mess. It's more fun this way, they would often confess. Boom, kaboom. As time went along, it got terribly worse, piling up at a rate that was hard to reverse. And then without warning, the door went kaboom, giving way to a wave that poured from their room. Next page. Get that in the frame there. If you can see that whole mountain there. And when the dust settled, there was stuff piled high, a mountain of toys nearly touching the sky. There were plastic toy trucks and cute dress-up dolls. There were quacking toy ducks and fun bouncy balls. Now, brother and sis had a big job to do, but how to get started, they hadn't a clue. You see them up there on the top? To tackle that enormous mess of a hill could take a few plows or a magical skill. Instead, they cleaned up one small piece at a time until there was no messy mountain to climb. Oh, hold your noses. Something real smelly's coming. Ooh. The room seemed so tidy with toys put away, but something quite stinky was headed their way. You could tell by the smell it was abnormal funk and seemed to escape from their overstuffed trunk. The stench was so bad the tears welled in their eyes. Could it be that big plate of old chili cheese fries? Ew. They sniffed and they smelled and sniffed, looking over and under anything they could lift. At last it was found inside brother's wet sneakers, like a science experiment that had oozed from its beakers. Ew, yuck. They scrubbed the trunk clean from morning to eve. But then what came next, you must see to believe. The room was dusty, it was 2 inches thick. And with one small sneeze, it all kicked up quick. It picked up speed and spun faster and faster, and threw them both into a natural disaster. This tornado of grime just whipped them around, picking everything up, not nailed to the ground. They had to take cover, but where could they hide? So they moved to the closet and both climbed inside. But their closet was crammed with clothing and such, and to get lost inside wouldn't take all that much. They started to sink in a big pile of sweaters, but safely grabbed onto a bow of feathers. How would they escape? Could they stay there all day? No way! So they started to put things away. Now that shirts and skirts were on hangers up high, they pulled themselves up with brother's old tie. The closet burst open, they rolled to the ground, then started to hear a loud suctioning sound. They were grabbed by a vortex from under the bed. "Oh no, not again," they both helplessly said. And under that bed, there was such a surprise. The space underneath it seemed 12 times their size. And scattered throughout, they saw all their lost things, like left-footed socks and lost hair bands and rings. So with an old gym bag, they gathered their loot. But supper was soon, so they needed to scoot. Then out through the window, the storm finally split, not leaving even the tiniest grit. And here's the happy ending, guys. Here we go. Look at that. With the last thing picked up now, they looked all around. And you wouldn't believe it, no mess could be found. There wasn't one sign of the mountain of junk, or the slightest whiff of that smell that so stunk. The dust was picked up when the twister came through, and their closet and wardrobe were all tidy too. Even the lost stuff was all back in its place, and now sister and brother both prized their clean space. So from this day on, they would keep the room neat. That's one misadventure they don't want to repeat. The end. Well, thanks so much.